Hello everyone currently watching this presentation. My name is Karina Bergoa and I will be your presenter today. Today we will be discussing Chinua Achebe's short story Dead Man's Path, first published in 1953. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what it means when it says first published, but it was what I found on Wikipedia, so we are going to roll with it. First, let us begin by talking about the mastermind behind this piece. Chinua Achebe is a Nigerian novelist, poet, professor, and critic who, because of his social realist works, has been dubbed the patriarch of the African novel. His first novel, Things Fall Apart, is considered his best and is the most widely read book in modern African literature. He is widely acclaimed for his novels depicting the clash of Western culture and African tradition. Part of his fascination with the mix of cultures came from Achebe's parents. While they were converted Protestants and didn't follow the older traditions, they still very much respected them, which led to him also respecting them. Now we will move on to the point of view this story was written in. This text is written in third-person, omniscient point of view. This means that the narrator knows the thoughts and feelings of multiple characters. This I inferred due to the fact that at the beginning of the story, the narrator seems to know the thoughts of both Nancy and Michael. For example, when Nancy is thinking, the wives of the other teachers would envy her position, she would set the fashion in everything. And again, when Michael thinks, open quote, he has many wonderful ideas, close quote. The setting of the story takes place sometime during January of 1949, during a time when Great Britain ruled Nigeria. The whole action happens in a small, superstitious village in Africa, more specifically, Ndume Central School, a place known for its unprogressive ways. Now we will be moving on to discuss the characters. The main characters that I have chosen here to depict with Google Images, so of course not what they actually look like, are Michael Obi, Nancy Obi, and the village priest Ani. Starting off with Michael Obi, we have a young, ambitious 26-year-old educator. I would consider him the story's protagonist. He has been educated and is extremely passionate about modernization. He is appointed headmaster of Ndume Central School by mission and is tasked with reforming that school from its backward ways. He is described as, open quote, outspoken in his condemnation of narrow views of these older and often less educated ones, close quote. Moving on to Nancy Obi. Nancy Obi is Michael Obi's wife, and she has, open quotations, become completely infected by his passion for modern methods, close quote. His referring to Michael Obi. She is eager to live in a more modern environment while she will be considered queen of the school, and she wishes to be envied by the other wives. Her wish, unfortunately, does not come true, as the other professors are young and unmarried, which suits Michael, but not her. The village priest Ani is who I would consider to be the antagonist of the story, as he presents a conflict for Michael. He is a traditional older man who serves as a religious leader in the village. He speaks to Obi about keeping a spiritual path open and warns Obi that he must, open quote, let the hawk perch and let the eagle perch, close quote. Alright, now getting on to the good stuff, we will begin the summary. Starting off, Michael Obi gets appointed as headmaster for Ndume Central School. Both he and his wife are very excited for their promising future. Michael looks forward to reforming the school from its backward ways, and Nancy is looking forward to decorating the school as a beautiful garden. Soon after Michael has been running the school, he stops to admire his work and happens to see an old woman walk through his school along a faint path. He is flabbergasted to learn that many village people use that path and walk through his precious school. He is told that the path connects the village to a special burial place that is very important to villagers. It has been the focus of a quarrel in the past, and the villagers have also won in the past. Yikes. Michael knows that the government education office is coming down to inspect him and the school, so he is concerned with how the path would interfere with that good image. Michael decides to put up fencing and wiring to prevent any more people from walking through it. Soon after, a village priest comes to speak to Obi about why the path is so important to the village. He tells Obi the importance of the path. He explains how, open quote, our dead relatives depart by it and our ancestors visit us by it. But most important, it is the path of children coming to be born, close quote. Obi laughs at this and states, open quote, the whole purpose of our school is to eradicate just such beliefs as that. Dead men do not require footpaths. The whole idea is just fantastic. Our duty is to teach your children to laugh at such ideas, close quote. Kind of a jerk, if you ask me. A couple of days later, a young woman dies during childbirth, and the furious village demands a sacrifice be made to appease the clearly angry ancestors. During the middle of the night, the villagers come to Obi's school and destroy his and Nancy's hard work. They trample all the gardens and even tear down one of the school buildings. When the education office arrives to inspect, the school is obviously in a mess. The office blames the conflict with the village on an overzealous headmaster, and it is assumed that Obi is dismissed as headmaster. In the end, both Nancy and Michael are denied the promise of their good fortune due to the arrogant actions of Michael, the consequences of his actions affecting his wife. Now that you all know the whole story, we can move on to the theme of the story. I think the major themes for this story are change, tradition, and arrogance. The full Igbo proverb that the village priest mentioned goes like this, open quote, let the hawk perch, let the eagle perch, and if one tells the other not to perch, may his wing break. This simply means live and let live. Let people live and believe what they choose, and everything will be fine as long as you let them. Two cultures can coexist as long as they let each other be. Because Obi couldn't see past his passion for modernism, his own hard work turned against him and instead led him to losing all he wanted. The title of the story, in my opinion, works as a theme in a way. Not only is it literally talking about the physical path that dead men travel, but it also foreshadows how through his action, Michael Obi chose a path where he becomes the dead man. And now, to finish it off, we will end with talking about the symbols of the story. I think many parts of this story represented something larger than themselves. For example, the fence represents the refusal of others to acknowledge other people's beliefs and traditions. In this story, the garden and flowers represented modernism. Nancy and Michael were always surrounding themselves by it, and in the end, they got trampled. The hawk and the eagle, of course, represents the coexistence of modern and traditional beliefs, as discussed previously. The priest also represented that the essence of old traditions bring about a wiser and more lenient approach to those not like them. Last but not least, Michael Obi represents many people's ignorance to older traditions. Here I have my works cited. I would strongly encourage you all to take a look at some of the Igbo proverbs as they were very interesting to read. Thank you very much for listening. This concludes my presentation. Once again, my name is Karina Burgoa, and have a great day.